Welcome back, my brothers, sisters, and lovers. This is Kalki Kara on Rebels United Chapter 5. Today has been very eventful, and we will be having an exclusive with Bhavin and our new friend on the show, Arthur. Arthur was my gym coach and a guy I completely adored because of his philosophy, his strength, the motivation he carries, the attitude he carries with him, and how amazing of a person he is. He had a lot of influence on my mentality and how I think. So I'm so happy to connect with him again and be able to talk to him about all this insanity that is going around us. And today's episode is going to be heavy on philosophy. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Arthur, would you like to make an introduction for our audience?
No, we can carry on with the conversation, and as things come up, we'll comment, discuss, and I'll explain anything from my view or vantage point.
Okay, sounds good. We always appreciate if you can talk about your affiliation, whether it's religious or political or just in
If I
general
talk about
life,
what?
how you
If I can talk about what?
your affiliations, like are you a Democrat or Republican, you're like Hindu, Muslim, Christian,
All right.
anything that identifies you
Okay.
to our audience.
Now, one that question that you asked, it has a lot of compartments, and it's not something that could be readily or easily condensed into a phrase or two. It would take time for me to tell that. But as far as my voting affiliation, I'm an independent voter. I don't ascribe to any parties and I don't join any gangs. I absorb the information, I ruminate on it, I judge the actions of whoever the character is, whether they Democrat, Republican, Independent, and then based on their track records, that's how I vote. Because one thing I learned when I was a little kid, you get down with a group, you get down with a gang, everything that fall on their heads falls on yours. So I choose to stay outside of those boxes.
Wow, what could not have been put in a better way. This is what we are trying to get everybody to understand.
Mhm.
This is how you should be thinking. And I did not plan it again. This is how it just comes out to be. People, those who want to understand the world, they are more open to conversation
Mhm.
and have proper debate.
Mhm.
So, Bhavin, you have any comments on that?
Yeah, no comments from mine. I agree with what everything Arthur said. Yeah, so that's exactly how I am too. So yeah, no
Yeah.
comments.
Well, this episode is gonna be very different because it's very like-minded people over here. Okay, so to get this conversation kick started, so all three of us are basically gym freaks in a way, or like we are regular gym goers. Arthur is a trainer, and there is different philosophies around that. What I want to focus on is how going to the gym builds you mentally, physically, emotionally, and prepares you for all these kind of challenges that you see in your daily life. So for me, I will give you an example. I got, you guys remember, I got injured really badly almost 3 years ago,
You didn't
and
get injured. You injured yourself.
yes, 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 you're correct. You're correct there. I injured myself. Thank you for. But yes, I injured myself really badly, and the journey of rebuilding myself was already very difficult. And if I would not have been a regular gym goer that built my personality and mentality,
Mhm.
I might not have recovered because doctors did not have an answer on how to fix my issue.
Okay.
So, uh, in those senses, Arthur, I will let you go first,
Um,
and you
what
can.
what do you want to
Yeah.
know? What do you want to know?
How going to the gym and doing regular physical challenges makes you more prepared for life. I will give you an example again with my life. My dad has always been against me going to the gym from the beginning because he thought going to the gym makes you like mentally not that smart. He was more focused on like you have to study harder than go do physical work because that's what's going to pay you more in life. Which now I can tell for sure I turned out to be pretty good in everything I did, but at the same time, what made me stronger and more disciplined is going to the gym.
Well, you got to understand this first and foremost. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes,
Okay,
we
you
can.
have to understand this first and foremost. Going to a gym is totally antithetical to the physiological structure of our species. There's only one state that the body wants to be in. What's that state?
What is it?
It's called
To be
it's
active.
called homeostasis. That's a state of balance or comfort that's established off of one's lifestyle. There's only two purposes for the brain. One, to act as a conduit between the will or soul and the body, and for the transmission of electromagnetic signals down the spinal cords to enable you to perform whatever actions you perform. So going to the gym is antithetical to how we're constructed. And most people have a misconception on what going to the gym properly entails and performance as well as progression. So I'm going to put it like this. In order, you know, Kalki, because you come to the gym, you've worked with me. You see the ups and downs that one goes through as they work out.
Yeah.
Once you make the decision to change and transform your body, you create a reverberation in the time sink as well as the energy sink of the universe that we in. Because even though everyone walking around here thinking they're separate, we have separate bodies, but our energies are all the same. So
Wow.
I'm saying that to say this. Your parents have a misconception based off of their experiences. Now, in order to really get into an overstanding, I don't like to use the word understanding because I ain't standing up under anything, I'm standing over it. In order to get a proper understanding of the gym, you have to first acknowledge what your actual reality is. Like if
Mm-hmm.
I were to ask how many people on this call or this podcast?
Just two.
Okay.
Bhavin, you and
And
Three of us.
what's get Kalki? Who else is on here? What's your name?
Bhavin.
Marvin?
Bhavin.
Darvin?
Yep.
Could you spell that for me?
Yeah, it's Bhavin.
Bhavin. Bobbin.
B. Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, if a person was to come to you, Bobbin, and to ask you, Bobbin, can you tell me what your actual reality is? What would you express or assert?
That would be basically what your perceptions and what you're going through day to day or whatever you're in.
So that's what you would say your actuality is?
I mean, that would be the actuality at the time. Yeah, at that time,
Okay.
basically, right?
All right. Now,
The state of mind.
consider this. And what you just espoused is what most people would assert. However, the terms that you utilize, they are ambiguous, they're amorphous, right? They change based on the perception of a person as well as the perception of a collective. Here's the thing consider this, Bobbin, as well as Kalki. If you stop and really think about it,
Mm-hmm.
here's your actual position and your actual reality. You stranded on a rock, spinning in the middle of space. There's only one way into this shit show, the matrix of birth. There's only one way out of this hellhole, through the portal of death. The time that we're here, this is a proving ground. What most of
Yes.
us don't what most of us don't understand is that we are triune entities. the 13 elements that make up the physical body or 13 of the elements that come from the earth. Now, is a funny thing about the earth. The earth is matter. Matter can be destroyed. The quintessential or most important component of us is energy. Funny thing about energy, it cannot be destroyed. It never dissipates. It only recreates itself in another space and time. So here we have a matter body that is propelled and conducted by electromagnetic conscious energy. Now, from the time we crash into the eggs, because all three of us that are on this call, we had to take the swim up the vaginal canal and crash into the egg. Would you both agree on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
From the time we crashed into the egg, the programming process begins. First, we program by the voices of our family, our mother, father, siblings, if we have older siblings. Then, when we come into the world, they begin to program us even more. Then the school system program us. Then our peer group program us. Then our profession program us. And the way they program, by the time we go through these levels of programming, we're operating off it. Like, can either of you gentlemen tell me how old a person is before their brain is mature?
In the sense of
In the
it
sense of
trying to,
maturity, in the sense of a brain becoming fully mature. At what age does that happen?
it depends on the
Come
person,
on, don't
but
do that to me,
basically what
Kalki.
we,
It does depend on the person. It don't depend
okay,
on the
I'm
person.
giving you I'm giving you a generalized answer, but I would
Well,
say
I'm not asking a
first level
generalized
of,
question. I'm being
okay,
specific.
yeah, yeah. So first level of maturity comes around 15 to 16. Second comes around 24 to 27,
Okay.
and then it progresses from there where we start.
Okay, very good. Now, a person's brain becomes fully matured at the age of 27 years old. But by the time a
Yeah,
person becomes 27, they're out starting a family, working a job, and they're fundamentally operating off of the autopilot that was created by the programs of the well meaning but ignorant people that programmed them. And then our system
yeah,
and the structure that we live under programs us. And we walk through life like automatons. And instead of developing the spirit to navigate us through this realm of existence and gain control of the body, our bodies gain control of us and guide
yep,
and direct us. And so it's
yep.
because of this that the vast majority of us are operating out of layer and layer of programming and refuse to go in and reprogram ourselves. And this is what happens in the gym. Like there's this form of physical exercise. It's a centuries old one. It's called yoga. Y'all ever heard of that?
Yeah, we are Indian.
Okay. All right. So what does yoga mean?
It's mind over body.
No. What does yoga mean?
No, yoga. There's many types of
No,
yogas.
no,
There's
no. But
yoga
there's
for,
only one fundamental meaning of yoga is the
yeah,
binding,
to be conscious with the
the
one.
binding or the yoking,
Exactly.
the binding or the yoking. This is the literal definition. And in the binding and the yoking, that means the coming together of the three facets of our being: spirit, mind, and body, and bringing them together so that we can navigate throughout this realm of existence. Because the vast majority of us, based on what I see in my historical understanding, we got to continually repeat the same shit because we're afraid to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. So when we enter the gym, we're entering in based off of one, because most people go to the gym either because a doctor tell them they got some health stuff that's going on, or because they don't like how their body look, or because they want to pick up more females, or because they think they want to get in shape. But when they come in, they don't realize that this is going to impact every area of your life. It's not only going to
Like,
impact, excuse me.
No, I'm saying
Yeah,
exactly yes.
yeah.
This is the point I was trying to get everybody to. And before we get back to you, just a second, I want Bhavin to comment on this too, and I have a follow up question on that
Okay.
for you. Go ahead.
The question is very loaded. I just like Arthur, I can go for hours and hours on this, but I think Arthur knows much more about Hinduism. Just I was actually shocked to know that Arthur knows. So Arthur, everything you said is true. I agree. Yoga, meditation. There's many types of gym, right? So basically, there's a physical gym, like you said, where you push weights or you run. There's aerobics, but then there's also like the yoga. There's yoga for regenerating your organs. There's yoga for breathing. There's yoga for actually physical that the Americans know about. But there's like 14, 15 different types of yoga. And of course, there's meditation. But all in all, uh, I agree with Arthur that basically in this world, right, when a child is born, they're like a blank slate. And everything you do is by absorbing or getting taught by others, including your family, friends, school system, and so on and on. So basically, you're just living life that is put upon you. So as the question I always answer when you go to the gym, to me, it's more like how when you build your muscle, you break the muscle over and over again, and then the protein will kick in, it rebuilds the muscle, so you can have now more capacity and more energy to it. And back to what Arthur said, the energy, right? The symbol of Hinduism is Om, and I'm not sure how much you know, Arthur, but Om is actually the concept, or not the concept, but it is the everything and the matter form, but also the second part of it is all energy. So our bodies are 97% energy. 3% of our DNA is actually, forms into the physical body, but the 97% of our DNA, which again, science doesn't know this, but it ties to the cosmos. And this is where, when we do meditation or when we do yoga and when we do all these other, there's five different things you can do. Um, that's where we tie into the oneness that Arthur was talking about, where you are actually communicating with the cosmos. So a gym is just nothing but saying that, hey, you're going to do this every day and you're going to go through the same exercises to
Hey,
keep
baby.
your organs fit so that you can basically extend your life. But also at the same time, every time you work out, the blood rushing to your brain, the blood rushing throughout your body, and the energy that you're consuming now basically makes you feel great, right? Makes you feel more alive. And so you are now going to focus on any of your problems throughout life with more focus, right? Rather than getting clogged up. So think of like a water drain. Something doesn't run through, like you have a water drain, like a sink, whatever, and you don't use it often. It collects dust, it collects everything, right? But going to the gym is like using that every day so that nothing collects and it stays clean. So everything that you put in, you get the output for it. So basically, it makes you or keeps you sharp, keeps you more fresher. It removes your stress. It makes you feel like you're not getting old and tired, right? I mean, of course, getting old is a slower progress, but if you don't go to gym at 20, you could feel like you're 60 years old. So kind of it's a health cycle where we are third dimension beings, so it's more like going to gym kind of keeps your third dimension, the vehicle, right? The vehicle that your soul lives in. Like Arthur said, basically the vehicle we have in this world is a rock called Earth. The only way to come here is by taking a birth, right? That's the only way. And then the only way to exit this is by death, because the soul is it's immortal. Soul cannot be killed. But and again, soul means the energy. But the body, which is the physical matter, that is the vessel or the car to your car for the driver. The driver is the soul, and the car, right? The car, you're keeping the car fresh, so you can extend your life. Basically. That's how I see going to the gym help you out, live longer, but live healthier and more focused.
Yep. And this, see, I'm like, I could not have found two better people to explain it to different mentalities in this world to understand what it is like to be going to a gym. And oh my God, Arthur, like I freaking miss listening to you because you are a force when you speak. Your knowledge, your vocabulary is just amazing, amazing. I have missed it. I'm so blessed to have you back in my life in this way. So, follow up question. First goes Arthur and then goes Bhavin. So, Uh, Another thing I have realized lately that I've been trying to just lift heavier and heavier, which is probably against what Arthur will tell you, but that's my personal experience. It has made me feel younger, look younger, and it has given me a confidence that I never had before. And yeah, I'm not even lifting properly, but I'm making sure I don't get injured. That's how I've been thinking. But the thing that has made it amazing or took it to the next level is I started praying in my brain and chanting while I'm exercising, and it has given me results that I could not even imagine. Like the other day, I shrugged 1,100 pounds. 1,100 pounds, I'm repeating it. I shrugged, shoulder shrugs, 1,100 pounds, which I'd never dreamt I will ever be able to do. And again, if I do it in front of Arthur, he's going to be like, what are you doing? This is wrong. That's wrong. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm just happy I'm able to lift that much weight. So I would like to hear your opinion on that, Arthur, and then Bhavin.
Well, I can give you both my professional and personal position concerning these things. And you need to understand this. Anything that I express, it don't come from me. It comes from the historical information, scientific studies, as well as what I observed throughout my 43 years of doing what I'm doing. I want to ask you a question, you guys a question, right? Um, if you pick up a feather, right, and then you pick up a sock, and then you pick up a 25-pound dumbbell, which is going to seem heavier?
25
25
The
pounds.
is
dumbbell, of
going
course.
to seem heavier, but how many muscle fibers are you going to fire to pick up each one? How many fibers you going to fire to pick up the feather? How many fibers you going to pick up the 25-pound weight? And how many fibers you going to fire to pick up the sock? How many?
I
I
think it's
think
the same.
Huh?
I think it's the same fibers, but the load is lower on the lower
Now,
content.
consider this. You are, as you just said, you fire the same amount of fibers. Fire the same amount of fibers. So that in and of itself, when we study how the body is constructed and the systems that make up the body, right? How many systems construct our body? How many systems do we have? Do y'all think?
six.
Somebody said six.
Yes, that was me.
Okay, we have roughly 11 systems that construct our body. And all of these systems operate in conjunction with each other. When we lift up a weight, we don't only work our skeletal muscles, we work our bones, we work our organs, we work our central nervous system, we work our reproductives. Every system in our body is shocked. Now, most people, when they think of the gym, you know what the first thing they think of? Going to work out. But going into a gym and moving weight is the smallest part of the overall scheme of fitness. You have first and foremost nutrition, because one's psycho-emotional disposition is inextricably bound to one's biochemistry. And one's biochemistry cannot be disconnected from one's nutrition. So one's
Yeah.
biochemistry and nutrition dictates their perception of the world. Now, everybody that you see when you go in the gym, say if you see me on the bench pushing weight, right? And I don't have a spider behind me, but I'm lifting the weight and I'm lifting it relatively easy. You would think is one person laying on the bench pushing weight, right or wrong?
Yes,
All
sir.
right, but that's not what's actually there. Just like when you're looking out in front of you, what you think you see, you don't see. You can't see the microscopic particles and debris that is attempting to go into your body and move around. Everybody that enter a gym, everybody that enter a relationship, everybody that comes to this planet, you always got two jokers accompanying you. One is called pride. The other one is called ego. And most people
Mm-hmm.
that go to the gym, They lift off of pride and ego without taking into consideration their longevity, because we're not working out, just realistically speaking, just to be bulk, just to be strong, or just to look good. We're actually working out for longevity, because if we live long enough, all of us are going to get old. Now, 99% of the people, and I'm being blatantly honest about this, and this comes from my perception. 99% of the people that go in the gym that's working out, they're destroying their bodies, because they're not
Ooh.
yoking. They're working out based off of pride and ego and what I want to do, not what the science has proven to be the proper methods to help me to get to where I think I want to go. Because we all think we want to go somewhere. Then more often than not, when we get there, what happens? Damn, this shit ain't what I thought it was. I don't like it. It's too hard. I don't want to do this. I don't want nobody telling me what to do. So we leave. And then our pride and ego takes us into another sector, and we replace another activity with working out, and still place the same degree of stress on our bodies and break it down. Weights should be utilized for
So,
building muscle. So when you go in the gym, you're lifting heavy weights, what you're doing is you're writing a check to cause your body to deteriorate faster. But when you work with the level of resistance that is comparable to where you're at, and you have your nutrition in order, your rest in order, your sleep in order, your flexibility in order, and your balance in order, then exercise and fitness takes on a whole nother perspective. Like, consider this, right? Um, I'm not gonna ask the question, I'll put it out there. We
okay.
have 206 bones in our body. When we're first born, we have about 220, 225, right? But we have 206 bones in our body. We have over 630 muscles in our body, right? And in addition to that,
Right.
we have all our systems which activates it. But if you go in the gym and you go to the biggest motherfucker in the gym, excuse my French, y'all, to the biggest cat in the gym, how many muscles you got in your body? Most people don't know. For real. How
No.
many?
Yeah.
You go to most people when you ask them, what is ATP? And ATP is the most vital component in our ability to have animation. They don't know. You go to most people, ask them, what are the fundamental staples of nutrition? They don't know what a carb, protein, fat, or fiber is, and neither do they know what these things do for their bodies. We know more about our phones, our televisions, our TVs, and even other people's business than we do about our own bodies.
Oh, snap.
And it
Wow.
and it's because and it is because of this lack of knowledge that we go and engage in the process and wind up getting injured or wind up stopping, because we're listening to pride and ego making us show off instead of properly performing the
All right.
task and
Mhm.
acquiring the information that's going to help us do it correctly. So if I say,
I do
yeah,
I do have two follow-up question on that. So number one is like, what about the feel good factor? It's when you
what
do
about
what
the
you
what
want to
factor?
do, feel good
Oh,
factor. Let me explain.
is
So
this
when you
Kalki?
get to,
Is this Kalki?
yeah,
Hold up, Kalki.
yeah,
Look,
this is
no, don't do that to me, Kalki. You used to hang around me. Cause you just what about the
I
feel good factor? Kalki, hold up, stop, bro. Listen, you know this, I know this, and Darwin know this, right? Even if we don't want to acknowledge it. Life don't give a fuck about
right.
your feelings. Life only cares about results. And results are only brought about as a result of taking proper action.
Correct.
No, I know.
So what's feel
Um,
good thing you talking about?
it just feels good. What's wrong with feeling good? If
Okay,
you want to feel
Kalki.
something, right?
First you
What's
use the
So
wrong?
word feeling, right? Then you saying good. Now consider this, Kalki, because me and you have had this talk several times, bro.
Right, I know that.
Okay, but listen, listen, listen. Good is not a feeling. Good is not a
Right.
feeling. And when you misuse something for the purpose other than what it was created for, it causes a distortion. For real, you can
It
go on
does.
any. It causes distortion in your psycho-emotional makeup because you misperceiving. Most
Yep.
people think that feeling goods means, oh, I'm happy, I'm jubilant, I'm not sad, I'm not down. Throughout the course of the day, it's required that we go through the entire spectrums of emotion and be able to identify them and then work through them so that they don't thwart our progress while we're here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now, ask me your question, but do it without the feel part, Kalki.
Okay. 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 The second question, second part was, so for me, I will say it has become a way of meditation.
Okay,
I'm chanting, I'm thinking in my brain, I'm trying to organize my thoughts, but at the same time, I'm basically praying.
okay,
And what is, I believe what it is doing is it's releasing adequate amount of dopamine and oxytocin, which is making me more focused
okay,
and giving me more.
okay.
What would you say to that?
Well, what,
And then we go to the.
well, Darwin could go ahead and comment on you. Then I'll say whatever it is I think.
All right. Bhavin, you go first on the both.
Okay, so we're going back to the original question, right? The first one.
First, and then if you play while you work out, then that make it better. Both.
Okay, so I think I remember. I don't remember your first question, but I heard you saying you left 1100, or you shrugged 1100 pounds. So my philosophy is a little different. I mean, it's not going against authors, but I have more ways to see this, right? So first of all, when I think of exercise, right, there's many types. First, like there's aerobics, right, where you just doing like running and certain things where your heart rate goes up. The second type is where you lift weights. Within that, I see two different, well, three different options, right? One is called powerlifting, which is what you I think described, saying more weight, less reps. I say that's like really needed for football players, or sports, not everyday human beings. The second one I think is more useful, which I have often do, called endurance, right? Endurance is more like more reps, less weight. So it is there to not injure yourself, which is I think what Arthur was trying to establish. And the third thing is one without the weight, right? Where you're like pushing one arm against the other, like kind of like what Bruce Lee did, right? Or you can use ropes and super bands and all those things. But it is all in the third type, it's all basically resistance, right? You're creating a resistance, and then you're also creating the opposite yin yang force to work the opposite muscles basically. As if I'm pushing one arm and pulling the one arm when I'm pushing and one pulling, they're working the opposite muscles, biceps, triceps, right? And so on. So going further,
Bhavin, you're getting very choppy. We can barely hear you.
oh, okay, is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. So what I was saying was, I I do my exercises where I'm not there to impress anybody. I'm not there to feel good, just like Arthur said. When I do my exercise, it is about longevity, and the way I think of longevity, right? It's not about living more, but it's more about pushing your old age further, so that you have more youth that you can live, right? Because everyone gets old, but it's the youth that if you can extend your youth, that's where you're gonna make the most out of your life,
Hey,
right? Because
Darwin,
youth is when you can do
can I share something with you real quick? I don't mean to cut you off, but I
everything.
feel it's imperative that I share this with you. Can you
Sure,
hear me, sir?
we can hear you.
Okay. No one gets a chance to get old here. Our bodies just age and decay, but our youth is
Correct.
always maintained. We only get to up to 120 years on this dusty little rock, and 120 years from a
We
historical
lost you, Arthur.
standpoint and perspective is no time at all. So we don't get old. Our bodies just get old and decay. Our mentality becomes warped. Our will and desire to push forward, move, and progress,
Hello.
it declines. It declines. Because think about this, bro.
Can
Right?
you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah.
you. Can you hear?
Sure. Okay.
Can you
Yeah.
hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I
Think
can hear
about
you
this.
because it went blank for a while.
Think about this. Change is inevitable. The body is going to change whether you want it to or not. Albert Einstein showed us the way to slow down the aging process of the physiological structure. But that little 5 year old boy that you were, right? He's still that
Right.
persona still in you. Like where are you from? You from India? You from America?
Yeah, born in India, but mainly lived here most of my life.
Where'd you go to school at?
For college, I went to NC State in Raleigh.
Okay, for high school.
High school, I was in Chicago and Carolina
Oh,
for
you was
high
in
school.
Chi-Town. Did you go to your prom?
Sorry, where did I go?
Did you go to your prom?
No, I went to in Chicago. I went to Elk Grove. It's in Elk Grove Village near O'Hare.
Okay, I'm saying like when before they graduate from high
Oh,
school,
prom,
your
prom. No, I did
prom.
not go to prom.
Okay,
No, I did not go to prom.
what did you do on prom day?
Nothing. I don't. I didn't believe in prom, so I didn't. I didn't.
Okay, but what did you do
I'm
on
a,
that
I'm a
day?
different beast.
What did you do on that day?
I have no idea.
You have no
It's too
idea?
far. It's too long
It
ago.
was too long ago. You don't remember it? All
Yeah.
right, but
No.
you had the foresight to remember I ain't do nothing because I wasn't into the prom. You felt you thought and you felt about it. What's the name of your best friend?
I have a couple.
Just name one. It can only
Okay,
be
Vive.
one best.
Sure, Vive.
Vive. Now, soon as
Yep.
I said who's your best friend, him and the others popped in your mind. Soon as I said the prom, you shot back to when you ain't doing nothing. Now, even then, you even felt to a degree, minimally, the emotions that you felt as a result of the prom experience. If I was to ask you about your graduation, if you went to your graduation, you
Right.
would immediately be able to shoot back there. All of these memories are actual live occurrences that can't be resulting. They're part of your life persona and makeup, and they all exist with you. Change is inevitable. But progress, now, that's some optional shit. So I'm saying that, I'm just saying that to say this. We don't get old here. Every persona is here. We just have to learn how to integrate all the personas. But go ahead, finish saying
Correct.
what you're
Yeah. No,
saying.
Yeah.
yeah. I understand. But what I was referring to was basically, like, so you have different buckets, right? So as your energy changes over your course of life or journey, right?
Uh-huh.
So, like, for example, when I'm at old age, with old age, you get a lot of wiser, you have a lot of experience, you have a lot of everything, right? That's gaining, but your body's functionality starts degrading. That's exactly what I was
And
referring
you
to.
know why it
Now there is a
degrades? You know why it degrades?
it degrades because of how do you say? There's a term I forgot to say, but it's basically degrades because of the in simple way, it's the poisoning that we let
It,
in
it
over the years.
it degrades because of our lifestyle. Degrades
Correct. Yeah,
because of how we
that's what I mean
live.
by poisoning.
Yeah.
Right.
It degrades
Correct.
because of how we live. It doesn't degrade on its own naturally because these bodies could remain here and function up to 120 years. Then we got to leave them. But our youth
Well,
and our
technically,
vitality, we leave it a long time before that even occurs.
correct. And I would just say that technically your bodies can live more than 120. There's ways, but like you said, it's the lifestyle that is the
Okay.
amount of poisoning you put in.
So let
Uh,
me interject really quickly.
sure.
Actually, this can take us into a different direction, but it will be fun. Bhavin and then Arthur, do you guys believe in reincarnation?
Sorry, what's the question?
Do you guys believe in incarnation?
Reincarnation. Okay. Of course, I do.
Bhavin,
I believe in reincarnation. Yes.
can you speak to it a little bit? What
Sure.
it is, so that
Yeah.
I
So
understand?
this is the way I actually. Okay. So what happens is what I know. Reincarnation is basically your soul. Like earlier I said, your soul is the driver, and car is your body, right? So we are right now a third dimensional being. We live in a third dimension, and so what happens is when we reincarnate, it's basically saying your soul will transfer to a new body, meaning you get a new birth after that, and it keeps going on. Now there is so the reincarnation cycle basically it's in itself is a repetition, right? Now there is another dimensions. So again, we are in third dimension. We reincarnate. We'll be in third dimension. We reincarnate. A third dimension keeps on going. But um, the other part of the immortality, which is something that we cannot obtain from gene, but there's other things in Hinduism, like there's certain types of meditations and yogas that we can do that can lead us to the fourth and the fifth dimension. When we do that, once we get to the fifth, which is kind of like a light body, meaning your body is made of light. And when you get there, that's basically the immortal state. After that, there is no reincarnation. But the fourth dimension and third dimension, there is a reincarnation. So is the second and first dimension. And we are all going to be stuck in the third dimension until we turn on the 97% of our DNA. Right, again, that has nothing to do with the gym, but that's something else that you do. But there is a way to exit this three-dimensional reincarnation repetition cycle.
All right. All right. Wow. See, a lot of information. Arthur, what are your views and
Okay,
opinion on the subject
the
matter?
reincarnation. First, gotta say this, Kalki. I like you, Darvin. For real, you're an extremely intelligent young man. I like your energy. I like you. Um, but I want to say this: I don't believe in reincarnation. I know reincarnation actually exists. How do I know? Because I am a reincarnated entity, and I've been reincarnated in this lifetime. I'm gonna share a brief story with you guys. It's only gonna take about 2 or 3 minutes for me to do it. When I was 17, well, I'm from this place called New Jersey, and there's this city in New Jersey. It's called Newark. It's a very fucked up spot, right? And by the time
Hmm.
you 13, either you clicked up, you're a homicidal murderer, or you fooled. You follow me? So
Yeah.
I go to this spot where my crew is at, and we is a whole
Hmm.
lot of rival gangs there. As soon as they come out the thing, we start joking, messing with my cousin and my little brother. We start banging. Now we start banging. We start fighting. Back when I was in my teens, knives, bats, these was the weapons of choice. At any rate, we gets overpowered. I hear the whistle. I starts running because that's the code. Get the fuck out of here. We gotta go. I know where we gonna meet up at. I'm running away. I'm running. I'm moving. I'm going. Then I'm like, damn, I'm sweating like a motherfucker. I reach behind me. Blood's all on my hand. I walk. I try to get shit. Start trying getting blurry to me. I walk to this church on Grove Street and Sussex Avenue. I think the name of it was Hopewell. It's a Baptist church, and I fall out right on the grass in the church. And I'm laying there, gulping like a fish out of water, gulping, right? And I'm laying there,
Hmm.
but in laying there, I'm so at peace. For real, I'm so at peace. The next thing I know, right, this guy picks me up. He scoots me on his arm. He's like, come on, you're going to be all right. You got shit you got to do. He didn't say shit. He used another word, right? He said, you have a mission you got to fulfill. So we walking, walks up, he gets to my mother's house, rings the doorbell, right? Open the door.
Yeah.
My family come down, open the door, and I fall face down. Now, I get transported to the hospital. When I wake up, they're putting a tube through my rib cage to go into my lungs because both of my lungs had collapsed. So,
Oh.
so look, I get out the hospital, I go home, right? I go home. I'm
Yeah.
talking to my family, and I asked my mother, "Yo, did you ever get the guy name who brought me home?" Right? It was like he looked like a Nigerian dude. He was super dark and shiny. I remember everything that he had on. Right? There's like it wasn't nobody there. It wasn't nobody there that brought you home. Right? And then on top of that, right? From the time he rung the doorbell and I passed out and woke up in the hospital, my heart had stopped beating. I was fucking dead. I was dead. And look at this. But then everything that happened when I was supposed to be dead, both in the other spot that I went to, as well as everything that I was going through, I remember every freaking thing.
So it was like an out of body
No,
experience
bro,
for
I
you.
died. I literally died,
Um.
bro. I died. But when I died, where I went, I remember where it was at. I remember what was going on. And I remember as before I was going to go through that little portal or that light filled door, it's like, bro, you got to go back. And then I just felt
Wow.
my whole fucking being. I'm in my body. I'm seeing lights in the room where they working on me, but I'm in no pain.
I know the feeling. I am not even because it will take forever to tell me tell everybody my story. But I heard something like this, and what a man are you, King Arthur? That see, you never call yourself King Arthur. I called you from the beginning King Arthur because I know you're special, bro.
Thank you.
You're different. You're special, and this is. I believe in my heart that when you go through something like this, it really changes you inside out.
Yeah, it
Right.
makes you
So
see where the fuck
I
you
just
at.
wanna,
Go ahead.
yeah. So I wanna just clarify, just and again, thanks for sharing the story, Arthur. But I would definitely classify this as something maybe out of body experience or something else. But the reincarnation, the reincarnation, according to our definitions, is basically
Oh, Bhavin, your voice got chopped up again.
shop
Sorry.
again. How is it now?
Yeah, you're sounding robotic now.
Okay, how is it now?
It still sounds robotic.
It-
I'm turning into a
Well,
robot.
fix it. No, just fix it. It's the system, bro. You got a podcast called Rebels United, and you don't seem to understand that the NSA taps into every fucking thing that we say. And it's certain shit that you attempt to convey, not only the physical beings that are here, but the spiritual beings that are here. They don't want other people to hear it. So when your phones be cutting off and you start getting that static, you need to understand that trigger words have been stated and you are being monitored.
I know. We said the same thing before we started the show, and you joined. You have to listen to our other episodes, and I believe me on X, I have seen 1,000 people joining, and nothing happens. And it's just 3 or 5 of us, and it causes a lot of problems.
Yeah, I agree. I
That's the
agree. So,
system. Go ahead, say fix your stuff and say what you're gonna say, bro. Don't give up. Don't give up the struggle. This is a part of the fight right here.
Oh
correct.
yeah, oh yeah,
So can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Is it better?
yeah. I see it
Yeah.
better.
So all I was gonna say or clarify was so Arthur's experience would be something I wouldn't classify it as a reincarnation because reincarnation actually can mean discovering the
It's
body and
still
then
really bad,
coming
Bhavin.
up with a new birth. And
Still
so
really bad. Would you
what's
mind disconnecting and rejoining?
yeah, I'll rejoin.
Okay. While he rejoins Arthur, oh my God, I have missed you, sir. I have missed
You
you,
ran.
and
You ran from what we were supposed to do together, Kalki. You ran. But that's cool though, because you had to go and have the experiences that you was having in order for you to be able to see, like, damn, everything this baldhead old motherfucker said to me is actually true. Is a fucking fact.
oh yeah, yeah, no
So
doubt
th-
there. And the
and we're
this is
connected now. So that whatever happened before that, it don't matter. Okay, something came on my phone said speaking rights, Kalki.
Yeah, I think that was me. So can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
yes.
Okay, all right. So, sorry for the choppiness, but what I was saying earlier was Arthur's story is fascinating. Definitely, it might be classified as something other than reincarnation because reincarnation, from the definition of Hinduism, right? It says that the body has to be like discarded, basically. So it's basically leaving the body forever, and then you get a new body from a new birth.
Hey, Darwin, could I share something with you?
Sure, sure, yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Okay, re means to do again.
correct.
Carnate means to inhabit. Now, there was this guy. His name was Lazarus, right? And there was this dude. His name was Esau, right? So,
Right.
or Jesus. They call him Jesus. Lazarus died.
Right.
Lazarus died. People came like, "Yo, Jesus, your best friend, he died," right? So Jesus stayed where
Right.
he was at for 3 days. Then he went back. Lazarus' sister was like, "Oh my Lord, if you was here, he wouldn't have been dead. By that, I wouldn't have died. Anything like that." Jesus was like, "Show me where he at. Show me where he at." Right? And so he went to the tomb where he was in. He said, "Lazarus, come forth." Lazarus got his ass up and walked back. Now, most people, based on mid-eastern and eastern philosophies, especially Hinduistic philosophies, they believe a reincarnation is when that soul takes on another body. But if
Right.
your soul is removed from your body and then placed back in the same body that it come from, you still have the information, but it's a whole new life because it's a whole new perspective. You come back a different person. How I know it happened to
Right.
me. You could ask Kalki.
Exactly.
I meet people, bro. I meet people, and within being around them for 5 minutes, I can virtually tell them about their whole fucking life.
Right.
Kalki's right there. He
It
could
Yeah.
tell
opens.
you. He could tell you.
Yeah, it opens.
So
It opens you up to different
yeah,
channels of
exactly,
information.
exactly. It opens you up, and going through the discomfort to get through the other side and submitting to whatever process you have submitted yourself to is what enables you to get there.
So right, but then it will be called resurrection, correct,
Of
Arthur?
course,
This is
of
resurrection,
course.
and that is reincarnation. So that's what
So
Bhavin is making a point of.
yeah.
That
So actually, I want to clarify one
Yeah,
more thing because we have something. So we have something. Is we don't call it resurrection, but there is in Hinduism and Buddhism, right? So remember earlier we were talking about meditation and other things. So there are practices in Hinduism and Buddhism. Of course, a lot of monks are able to perform. I cannot perform it, but a lot of monks are able to perform where you can literally detach your soul from the body, right? And then what happens is you can keep it detached for a while, but they don't consider that as a because they're doing it as a controlled, like they're doing it in a controlled manner. And I think what happened to Jesus, right? And again, I was from the historical data points. There was the 3 or 4 years where Jesus was missing,
it was
right? And
18
basically,
years. It was 18 years he was
he-
missing. And it's not Jesus
correct.
that
So
who's the central person in the point I'm trying to make. It was Lazarus
correct,
because Lazarus was the one that was extracted from the tomb.
correct. Yeah. So I think in that time he did go to India and he was like studying Buddhism. And again, he did study the art of this exact thing where you can, um, in a controlled fashion, move the life source. And we call them life source right? Because life source is the soul, but it's like you taking the life source detaching it from the body, and then he can reattach it. And again, Jesus was, or Lazarus was one of the guys from the Western, but on the East, in Eastern, like in the Buddhism and Hinduism, many souls have performed this controlled, practice, and they still some of them can still do it today. So I think that's the difference between reincarnation and a controlled, like a meditation state that and I don't know the name of the meditation state, but this is possible. There's another one where you can move the life source into your head only, right? So your body becomes dead, but your head is alive, and then you can always move it back. So that has also been performed many times by, you know, big time saints. Again, this takes years of practice. It's not something that just comes to. But there is a hidden knowledge on how to learn these things, and I think, and well, not that I think, actually, I know that anytime when any culture invaded another culture, mainly the Western to the Africa or Western to the Asia, things were destroyed, right? And so I think we live in a world right now, in the last 100, 200 years, maybe more, where the secret information that people should have access to, which people did in the past, is now being blocked, right? So these practices where you can, have your body master, right? This is again going back to the 97% of your DNA being deactivated by default. This is where that knowledge on how to reactivate that is being hidden from a general public. So if we get to that, if we get access to that information, I think every person can then start doing miracles basically, because miracles are nothing but, like you said, controlling the electromagnetic energy that your body can do, but we need that information to practice. Like, just like going to gym is not a 1 day thing. You go every day, you do the same exercises every day, right? And then you get the outcome in a long run, right? Same thing. There are a lot of mantras, there's a lot of chants, there's a lot of information that we don't have, but just by practicing and doing it over and over again, over time, your body can start doing a lot of, magic, basically, in the words. And Jesus was one of them. Krishna, we have a lot of guys who came and did that, right? So I think that's where, um, in the modern world, we go like, oh man, that's like, we don't believe that. But that's because the information that we can do, I mean, anybody can do this, but they need that information to focus into it and then to become that supernatural being that leads us to the higher dimensions.
wow, exactly what the point I was making from the beginning. Wow, you guys have bring it all together in such a fantastical way, and that's what I was saying. I have changed my workout habits to include the best of both worlds, because I do understand what Arthur is saying and I do understand what Bhavin is saying. And it came to me naturally that if you merge the two, the results will be phenomenal. So, have either of you tried it where you basically chant or focus or meditate while you're working out?
Hmm.
And if so, how do you feel?
That's a good idea, Captain. That's a good idea.
Right?
Yeah, check it out. I gotta leave. It's time for me to take my butt to work. So I
Okay.
greatly appreciate you guys inviting me to this combo. Kalki, I look forward to hearing from you, bro. We need to stay in touch. You only one state away from me. We can make time to see each other. And I think you guys are doing a good job. Keep on doing what you're doing. And do not give in when the obstacles come. Just keep moving forward.
Man, you're a gem. God
Yeah, you are
bless you.
you are awesome, Arthur. Nice meeting you,
All
man.
right, thank you.
Yeah.
And Kalki, let me hear from
I
you.
hope,
Let me hear from you, my brother.
I hope you become a regular. We do this every Monday at 3. So if you have time, you can join any given episode.
Oh,
I would love to have you. People need to hear you.
okay.
I'm telling everybody, you have to hear more from Arthur. This guy knows his stuff.
Well, thank you. I appreciate both of you guys. Peace and love to you, and keep on moving forward. All right.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
Thank
you.
you.
I'm out of
You
here.
too.
All right. Have a good day, Bhavin. You can give your closing remarks as well, and then I will close the show.
Sure. Yeah. So the we were talking about gym and working out and how the body works and everything like that, how to extend your life and all that stuff, and making daily motions into regular activities where you can make your body and your life and your soul perform to the best. And I think we captured that perfectly in this session. And basically, I think that everybody, again, what this leads to is what I've been saying every time, right? Question everything and always look for that more information. There's always more that you can always learn on a daily basis. Learning never stops. Learning is the part of life. It never stops. Doesn't matter how old you are. Even at 100 years of age, you're going to learn something new every single day. So never, as Arthur was saying, never quit, right? Don't quit the gym or don't quit working out because it didn't go the way you wanted. So again, don't work from your ego. Do not work with expectation. Never have expectation to do, say, I need to get this out of it. I mean, have a hope, have an expectation to complete a task, but don't work out of your ego. So work, do the work, put in the work, and you will eventually see the results, whether you're meditating, whether you're going to the gym. Again, minimize your injuries, so don't try to impress anybody. Just do what you can do. Just keep doing it, going at it, whether it's meditation, whether it's yoga, whether it's working out. Just do the thing, go with the grind, and question everything, and eventually, sooner or later, you're going to start seeing the results. And that's, I think, what summarizes this podcast.
Awesome. See, when we started this podcast today, especially, we were supposed to have 7 guests, but because of work conflict, things changed. And this has happened out of nowhere. And I could not be more happier. This has been very different from our last 4 chapters. And I hope people get the message here. From me, the message is very simple. You have to look past your own mentality, your conditioning, as Arthur was saying, that what you're programmed to do, because that's how we are losing. We are losing because we cannot see past our programming. We are losing because they are more capable of programming us than us to be able to decouple ourselves from the programming and see beyond what it could be. We are not seeking information, we are just being fed information. And that's why we are losing. And the people, those who are trying to control us this way, you already know what is coming. Since you're against us, go fuck yourself and let us fucking peace. I would like to thank you, Bhavin. and Arthur for making this show happen today. It has been phenomenal. You guys have a great day. Thank you. Take care. See you next week.